Happy Valentine's Day. What better way to celebrate Valentine's than absolutely destroying the couples that we love and adore by trashing on people who seem to be happy but are actually not. Let's just shatter everyone's dreams. My Valentine's gift to you. The theme of this video is couples that I very well think would break up after their movie ending.
There's a reason why you're alone. No one can trust you.
Yeah, what's your reason?
Seriously, I just thought it would be fun to debate this. How many times do we honestly watch a rom-com and we're like, you wouldn't last 2 months. You guys can have hot monkey sex for a while, but then what more is there to your relationship than that? What more is there to these relationships other than these are two sexy as hell people that are attracted to each other? I did want to choose couples too that are beloved. Just to stir it up that much more, you know, because there are the obvious choices I could have gone with, right? I could have obviously said Hardin, Scott, and Tessa, whatever what's her last name? I just know her name because of Hardin screaming it all the time, literally. Tessa! Tessa! I could go with that obvious choice, and I wanted to go with options that aren't so obvious. They're not inherently toxic in their movies, but yet there's some things. I hope you guys aren't mad at me. Please don't be mad at me for this. This may cause riots. Yes. Yes, I may have people swarming at my door, chucking elephant poo into my living room. That very well could happen. I'm aware. I'm very aware. This is just for shits, right? Don't take this seriously. We're just gonna have a laugh. We're gonna have a ball. We're gonna have a kiki. If you want to argue with me in the comments, that's fine. Respectfully, though, okay? If you respectfully want to be like, you know what, Becky, I see some of those points, but honestly, these are my points why I think they would be together, then by all means. But without further ado, let's go over these shits. The first couple I wanted to highlight here is a recent one. You know it. You know it. And it's nothing to do with Sydney Sweeney, I swear. It has nothing to do with how hot she is and how every man wants to her. I swear. How perfect her face and body are. I swear. It's to do with the couple. Anyone but you. Beatrice and Ben, aka Bea. Bea? Is that what they call her in the movie? So obviously these two people are hot as shit. You'll notice that as a theme here, that the people are very hot. These two are egotistical as wow. Egos the movie. Hot blonde people with egos the movie. I would give them an approximate 3 months before they implode on each other because of so many reasons. Okay, first, number one, how they initially communicate with each other. These two don't know how to communicate for shit.
Doors that way if you're looking to sneak out. I know that's your thing.
Well, I am a disaster.
Initially they meet, it's really cute. He pretends that she's his wife in order to get her to the front of the line, which is just they go back and sleep together. She leaves and he wakes up and misinterprets it that she just left him without a word. So he gets all heated and pressed about it and then talks on the phone with his friend being like, yeah, she was nothing, she's just a bitch. Actually, he doesn't call her a bitch, but you know what I mean. He's like, yeah, it's some fucking whore, I just on the street, she had the massive tits, bruh. You know how guys talk, like that. Exactly like that.
I couldn't get her out of here fast enough. This girl's a disaster.
She then comes back and then he overhears all of this and she's like, well, frick you then. Fast forward, mutual people in their lives are getting married and they're invited obviously to the wedding because it's her sister and one of his friends, and they refuse to communicate with each other. This whole damn time. Use your words. You are adults. You should be able to speak your mind, okay? I think more so on his end, I would have been more open to it right away because on his end, she just left, right? She just left without a word. So for me, in my humble opinion, I don't get why he's so pressed about it. Because yeah, that is shitty. But then did you not just consider for a second that maybe she had an emergency or something? Maybe she had her reasonings, maybe she had her period and she was like, I'm gonna stink up this place, I gotta leave. So for his end more so, I would have been more willing to ask her about it and hear her out, even with her attitude. Because her, I get it more because she heard him talk bad about her. So in that case, yeah, I would be like, bruh, you're a bitch. But the point is that they have already terrible communication with each other from the start. From the start. I also personally just hate that trope. Can I just say the whole miscommunication thing? Just talk. Just talk. I know in real life it happens, sure. Oh, but use your words. You know, especially when you get old. Like, you just don't have time for that bullshit anymore. Anyway, that's point number one, why I don't think these two would work out in the end, because they have numerous miscommunication issues. So they do the whole fake dating thing, right? And they just have a few bonding moments, right? At the end of the day, I summed this up to grilled cheese and good grilled cheese and getting absolutely donkey by Glenn Powell. Pow, pow. Pow, pow. Get it sexy. Get it sexy. Because honestly, what do they really do to make them fall in love with each other other than Glenn Powell giving Sydney Sweeney grilled cheese and a good booty spank?
When are you ever gonna learn?
They have moments where they're fake dating and having fun. There's a spider on his ass. There's a spider on his dick or some shit. And then they have to dance. So they dance together and it's pretty romantic with them dancing together, I guess. He goes in and saves her even though he can't swim. And then in order to calm him down, she sings one of his favorite songs, which in my humble opinion is an amazing song as well. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, feel the rain on your skin. Hilarious, great moments. It's absolutely great. I ate that shit up for sure. My whole premise of this is I get why they would be attracted to each other. I get why they would like each other. But to last long term, I don't know. Because they have these moments, but then afterwards there's more miscommunication where he tells his friend how she didn't end up doing her law school, which was a private thing that she shared with him, but he privately told his friend, which in my humble opinion, I don't really fault him for it because he thought he could trust a friend with that. And honestly, it's pretty common for people to trust their best friend. I'm going to tell my best friend's tea. I get it. It's not his secret to share with the world, but he trusted in his one friend when he was talking about his feelings for her. But then that friend snitches and literally tells freaking everyone, which is on the friend. Then Sydney Sweeney gets mad because she's like, yeah, you messed this up for me. This is all your fault because you told your friend. I do get from her perspective. I just thought it was kind of blown up over proportion for the movie's dramatic sake. After all of this, his ex kisses him in front of Sydney Sweeney's face and she's just like, I'm gonna go watch couples get engaged. I hate myself so much that I'm gonna watch other people being in love. Is literally what she does. Anyway, he does realize that he likes her, he is in love with. Does he use the L word? I don't even know.
I couldn't face the idea of losing someone else that I really loved.
They kiss, it's all happy, good night, goodbye, it's done. But all of this to say, nah. Oh, you know what else she says? Oh, yeah, that was another point. She says to him at one point, the reason she broke up with the ex is because they never fought.
We never fought. He was just comfortable. And he's a great guy.
Okay, now this is interesting because I will give some grace here. I get it in the sense of if you're not fighting because you're just not communicating. Because there is those cases, right? There are those cases where I've heard people, they break up after a while, but it's because of the fact they were holding things in more so rather than communicating it to each other. So fights never happened because you guys were avoiding those fights to happen. I've heard those instances happen, right? Because there's no communication there. But in Sydney Sweeney's case, it didn't sound like that was happening. It sounded more so that she was just bored because they never fought. He's too nice almost. So for me, that was a flag in my opinion. You're basically saying that he was too nice of a guy. I don't know. I thought that was weird as shit, to be honest. Again, it's healthy for couples to fight, I think. I mean, depending on what it is, obviously, and how often. And then it shows in contrast, obviously, how her and Glenn Powell have been fighting throughout this whole movie. But it's like, what? Is that what you want? If you want more fights, oh, girl, you're going to get it, but you're not going to want it after you get it. Like, you're gonna be tired of that real quick. They also make a point with the age gap because Glen Powell is supposed to be apparently quite older than Sydney Sweeney in this movie. They pointed out in the movie. And to me, that also makes sense because Sydney Sweeney, I don't know how old she's supposed to be in the movie, but it is younger. And to me, that screams younger. Girl, hit your 30s. Hit your 30s and then tell me you want someone to argue. Please, be so serious. You're gonna get tired of that so quick. For me, it makes the most sense for them to eventually break up because A, she's gonna get tired of them arguing so much, and they have been proven to argue, and it doesn't seem like they've fixed their communication issues. I give it a few months before she gets tired of the bullshit. Maybe he would get tired as well, I don't know, because he's the older one. And then they just break up after having a lot of good donkey smashes. A lot of good Donkey Kong smashes there. They would be really hot, but it would only last so long for sure. That is my take on Anyone But You and why they would not work out in the long term. Let's move on. Let's move on to a funny one. Ariel and Eric from The Little Mermaid. This is one I've been wanting to talk about for ages because honestly, I love this movie. Don't get me wrong. This was one of my favorites growing up as a kid. Are you kidding? How many times I rewatched the VHS? VHS girlies? Anyone out there? VHS? Ariel and Eric, very simply put, would not last because bitch be serious. Ariel would learn how to work her legs and then learn how to use them real quick. He is the first man that she really laid her eyes on. And she laid eyes on him for all of 2 minutes. Saw him playing the flute and being nice to his dog and then fell in love. Oh, be serious. You could make a stance for any of the early Disney princesses, to be honest. You could make that argument for any of them, really, and how none of these relationships will work in the long run. However, this is my argument for this one couple because they're so beloved. They're also hot for a Disney couple, yes. But the whole premise of them is so flawed. She looks at him and is instantly like, yes, I am in love. I am that much more willing to go to the surface because of this man. And yeah, I do know the whole backstory with Ariel, how she has always loved the human universe. She was always fascinated by it. Yes, that is canon. I get it. But Eric pushed her that much more to getting them legs. Getting them spreaders. Also the fact that she literally cannot talk the whole time. She's not talking. As Ursula said, you have your looks, your pretty face. Don't underestimate the importance of body language. Ha! Queening out with that song. This bitch couldn't talk for the whole time. What is Eric falling in love with? He's falling in love with a hot girl who doesn't know what she's doing. Ooh! Really put it in perspective there, please. He is falling in love with a girl who is hot, who shuts her mouth, and who is clueless. Wow. Ariel, at the very least, I'll give her snaps because she was liking the person Eric is, I guess. I mean, yeah, with him being hot and all, but she was seeing how kind he was with his dog and all of these things, right? But then Eric is a little questionable to me. The bitch can't eat. The bitch can't use the fork properly. The bitch can't drive. Look at his freaking face right here when he's letting his woman drive. That is the face of a man who will never let his woman drive ever again. So in my humble opinion, right, in theory, once Eric hears Ariel talk and that she has a mind of her own, is Eric still going to be attracted to her? Was the whole appeal to her the fact that she couldn't even talk? That he didn't get an earful every now and then? Because yes, Ariel has a mind of her own. Ariel can clap back, as we have seen her being able to clap back at her dad on multiple occasions during this movie. So we know that she has a mind of her own and she can speak it. She feisty. Ooh, she feisty. And I love that about her. I do. But will Eric be able to hold that down? That's questionable to me. How did he fall in love with her exactly? Because once Eric does get that earful, I don't know if he's gonna grow tired of it. He's like, bitch, I liked it when you didn't talk. Bitch, I preferred it when you kept that mouth of yours shut. I'm sorry for ruining your guys' fairy tale. I'm so sorry. This is so mean. I'm sorry. Yes, I know it's canon that Ariel and Eric have a daughter named Melody. I literally watched that movie as well as a kid many times. So I'm just putting that aside for this argument. Let's just put that aside for this argument. Let's just call it not canon for this case. And then obviously, apart from the fact that they literally only knew each other for a few days before Eric decided to wife her up. I don't know what the timeline was either, because that's not clear of when Ariel is able to fully be a human and then they get married. I don't know. I actually don't know what the timeline of that was. Maybe it would have been years later, who knows. But to me, the whole being in love with that person within a few days without him fully getting to know her, because she literally did not talk, is just crazy. And then he also found her very charming and enduring with how she was clueless with a lot of things, right? With like the whole fork situation and then puffing the dust in the guy's face or whatever, you know, he was charmed by her with those things, right? But then fast forward, let's say she's accustomed to human life. Once she gets to knowing the world, then what? What is the charm now, Eric? Now that she's an educated woman and knows the earth, is she still charming to you, Eric? I would like to think, hopefully, yes. But, you know, Ariel's always going to be a curious one, obviously. But he didn't really know that about her in this period of time. He just knew her for being charming and clueless with everything and being adventurous with the world, wanting to see the world. But then, yeah, let's give it a year or so when she does discover the world and is able to use a fork properly. Are you still gonna be charmed? I don't know, Eric. I'm tired of her being educated. I'm gonna leave. Gonna leave for another woman who doesn't talk and is more clueless. Also, Ariel is such a babe. Like, she's such an absolute catch. Yes, she scored a prince, and as she should. But let's be serious. She could also score whoever else she wanted to. She could score Michael B. Jordan. She absolutely could. Once she knows how to use them legs and spread them, who's stopping her? Let me know your thoughts on this one, because truly, I think I just ruined everyone's favorite Disney couple. I would give it maybe a year. I would give it a year because it doesn't look like they're argumentative people. I mean, Ariel, yeah, she can be feisty, but I would give it a year. I would give it a year and Eric would get tired. Next couple. The proposal! Margaret and Andrew.
Oh my God!
This one's funny because truly, I hate this movie. The other two, I truly enjoy. The Little Mermaid, I love The Little Mermaid. Anyone But You, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. This movie, okay, it has its moments. I can't just say it's a bad movie, obviously. But I never have been able to stand it because of the main couple. I know this is where I'm gonna get a lot of comments. You guys are probably gonna disagree with me so much, but hear me out. Please hear me out. The movie itself isn't bad. Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock are both hilarious in their own retrospect with their own characters and what they're doing. But as far as the relationship and the rom-comminess of the relationship, I just could never buy it. And I didn't realize why, because it was years ago I watched this movie and I never rewatched it because I just did not care for it that much. But now rewatching it for this video, I realized something. Yes, this is why. This is why I didn't like them. First of all, the whole setup, right? The whole setup is that she is his boss. He has been working for her for, I think, about 3 years or so. And there's already that power dynamic there where she is his boss and has power over him, right? Power imbalance. Then, in order to save her ass, she forces him to get married to her so that she doesn't have to get deported to Canada. And then eventually he turns it around for his benefit as well and tells her, okay, I'll do it, but you have to make me editor. You have to make me head editor-in-chief or whatever it is. So he gets something out of it as well. It is an exchange. It is a deal. They're good with it. And then literally this happens within 3 days. Okay? This is a common theme here for these movies, is that for whatever the frig reason, these people fall in love with each other in such a short amount of time. I just don't buy it. I get getting attracted to a person within whatever amount of time, but dude, does it not take some time before you're fully like, yeah, I'm in love with you. You don't just say you're in love with someone within 3 days. Taking it back, the main issue I have with this couple, okay, is because we get a whole bunch of their hijinks throughout the film where they're pretending to be a couple and they still are at odds with each other because they hate each other. And then there's literally one scene, okay? One freaking scene where they bond for like 5 minutes where she tells him some things about herself and opens up about herself and her life. Just with some things though. And they have a nice moment too after that where it's the same scene though, where he sings to her. It takes two to make it. It's a funny moment. It's cute. So they bond that night. And then literally the next day is when Sandra Bullock starts behaving all weird with him and makes that switch where she, I guess, starts liking him now from that one moment they had with each other. And then they only have one other moment where he saves her. Again, something about saving people, but he saves her from drowning and then covers her up in a blanket and just takes her back home safely. And then she refuses to get married to him because she will not subject him to all that because she has now grown to like him and care for him. And then we get to the end of the movie and he's like, yeah, I'm in love with you and I'm going to marry you.
What the fuck?
What? And I swear to you, they have funny hijinks moments. But that's one of the things that just doesn't work with me in some of these hate to lovers things is because you don't give enough of them bonding, of that switch, of them actually getting to know each other and liking each other. Yes, they did know each other for longer. Yes, because he has been working for her for years. However, through all those years, it is stated how he hates her. He can't stand her. He calls his family, I know, she's a hard ass. You know, I wish I had a different, whatever. You know, he doesn't like her for all of these years. It's a strictly professional and he does not stand her. To have him then switch over to being fully in love with her within this 3-day time period is just ludicrous to me.
The woman I love is about to be kicked out of the country. Marry me.
That's a good one.
Because, again, most of the movie is her actually spending time with his family. They do like this whole bachelorette thing. She spends time with Betty White, you know, the iconic to the window, to the wall. You know, she has nice family moments, and she does even mention to him how she's forgotten what it's like to have a family. That's understandable for sure. But between these two, there's just barely any growth there, dude. I just could not buy it that within this short time, they fully fell in love with each other. I get having a care for each other after this and having more of a respect for each other after this, but fully in love? They did not give us nearly enough. I'm sorry. They had a fake kiss where they seemed to kind of be into it by the end of the fake kiss there, but that was that. And then they run into each other, whatever. Whatever. I'm being mindful because YouTube hates me right now for using the word sex or kid. YouTube hates me right now. But then that's really it. Then we get that one bonding moment, and then all of a sudden, she really likes him now.
I like the psychic network. I took disco lessons in the 6th grade. Never played a video game.
That's not enough for me, dude. I would have appreciated more moments of them bonding. Maybe, and again, Betty White is amazing. I love Betty White, so I would not cancel that scene. But less scenes with her and his family because it felt more that she was more happy with having a family rather than falling in love with him. Okay, on her part too, I understand more how she fell in love with him because seeing him in this new light with his family, how nice of a person he is and stuff. You know, I get it from her perspective, but what does she really do to make him fall in love with her is my thing. Sandra Bullock is beautiful, of course, and she opened up to him once, but then, you know, what else did she really do to make him fall in love with her? I don't know. Again, it just didn't, there wasn't much relationship building. There wasn't that much with their personalities to really make me think, oh yeah, they really complement each other so well. You know, there was more clashing, if anything, and them having a good camaraderie banter with their personalities, I guess, but that's really it. So no, I don't think these two would make it in the long run, and they would divorce after they get married right away. One thing too, to know things about the other person, because obviously Ryan Reynolds' character, he did have to actually know things about her because that was literally his job. She was his boss. But then it's another thing to actually get to know a person, if that makes sense, because he knew things about her and she then knew things about him. But then as people with your hobbies and interests and you know, things you enjoy, do you guys really bond that well with those things? And do you laugh around each other and have a good time with each other, you know? Like those basic things. Didn't really get that from this movie and what they presented to us. So yeah. And even at the end, one of the friends is being interviewed and he even says it himself that he is unsure that they would even last that long.
Are they soulmates?
There's just a lot there. The power dynamic too, initially, with her being his boss, obviously, and there's obviously a power imbalance there that she has over him, and I feel like might translate to their relationship. Yeah, just overall, I just so many things with this couple. But it's a fun movie, it is. A potential last one. I wanted to do 5 for this, but like, goodness sakes, I've been talking a lot about these for a while now. And I might do a part 2, depending on how well this goes. Because I have more. Oh, I have more, but it depends. Let me know if you guys want a part 2 or not. Pretty woman, walking down the street, pretty woman. This is a beloved classic. I am so sorry because even my parents love this movie. It was literally their first movie date. Pretty Woman, I will say in general, from watching Anora, if y'all haven't watched Anora, you should definitely watch it. But after watching that, I thought, yeah, that's more realistic, to be honest. Both of them have the same plotline where there is a sex worker who falls in love with a rich man. One of them takes the more realistic route, which is Anora. Whereas this one takes the more rom-com-y route, which is that they end up together in the end, but I don't think they would have ended up together in the end. For many reasons. For one, Richard Gere? Oh my god. His character says to Julia Roberts' character how he basically is fresh off of a relationship. So he's literally on rebound mode right now, right? He's fresh off. He was saying that his ex was moving as they speak. So to me, that read that she was a recent ex, most likely. There's that. There's also obviously, again, a power imbalance here where he is literally paying her for her services, and throughout the film, she's doing things because he's paying her. And so take the payment aspect out of it, and what do you really have left in this relationship? Are you just gonna do everything he says because he has money? Which isn't fair, in my humble opinion. Julia Roberts' character has every right to have her own dreams and aspirations and want to do the things she wants to do that doesn't necessarily involve money, but I don't know, that's just me. But everything she does, you know, he tells her, I want you to go buy some fancy clothes. I want you to then meet me at this event. It's all transactional. He's paying her for her services and telling her what to do. So in a relationship, that's not how it works. Typically, it would be a mutual thing. That would be interesting. Let's say things do turn out in the end and they do end up together. How would that play out if they're together after he's not paying her for that? You know, would she be more than happy to doing these things, or would she pick different dresses out? Because even she said that she wanted fun dresses or, you know, something, and then he corrects her and he's like, no, elegant. I want you to find elegant things, right? What if she comes out in a dress of her choosing and he's like, nah, that's not elegant enough, that's not what I wanted? And she's like, well, it's what I wanted. I can easily see arguments happening there because she got her own style, she got her own things that she wants. He can't tell her what to dress and what to wear all the time. And damned him, if it's not appropriate enough, then it. Like, let her be. Let her dress the way she wants to dress. This all also, again, with the short period of time, that's just such a theme here. This all also happens within a week. Oh, Lord. How do y'all fall in love in a week? I just can't relate. Also, just him as a person and their personality type. I get why he would be fixated on her, but I don't really get his appeal to her other than his money. And that he's nice to her. Because he is nice and polite and everything, but what else? Watching this movie, there were quite a few times here where she would do something either intentionally or non-intentionally, but that it's supposed to be charming, right? Or funny. And his reaction to it is pretty cold. She spits out gum and he's like, I cannot believe you just did that.
Get rid of your gum.
She's like pretending to fall off the roof and he's just like, sit down. Like, can you just come here, sit down? Doesn't really entertain it. So for me, I was kind of like, okay.
Look, no hands, no hands. Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
That was another thing I just caught on to where, I don't know, it seemed like her personality, as much as she is charming to him, he also seemed to be bothered by it sometimes. And going back to him being charmed by her and her, I don't really get with him. For his personality type, he was so boring to me. Again, I'm so sorry because he's a charming man, yes. But to me, that character, it just read boring to me. That he was just like a statue most of the time. He did have that cute moment of playing with her on the phone. I thought that was a cute thing that he did. But other than that, and then the closing of the hand thing, obviously that was cute. But other than that, he was mostly boring.
Right, Senator Adams, let's find out where he is. The Navy's not going to spend $350 million on anything.
At least with Honora's case, the guy was funny and full of lights and energetic and everything. Whereas this guy was just so bland, bro. Like, he was like a freaking cardboard box, dude. That's just me. Obviously, everybody has different personality types that they're attracted to. I'm sure that personality type other people would find attractive, so that's more subjective on my end. But I don't know, I personally thought he was like a fucking stick. I think overall, if they were to make this try to work afterwards, again, you have that power imbalance, so I don't know if he'd be able to get used to just not having her do everything he wants, because she literally was there at his every whim because he was paying her. So take that away and, you know, would you like it? Would you like it if she isn't around for every single thing you need her to be in? I don't know. Would she be willing for that as well? Because I believe she did talk about wanting to go to school and do something for herself at the end. So that's great, you know, good for her. Not being available to him, though, that she would go to school and then I would imagine have her own career and everything going on for her. Would that cause rift in their relationship, considering how she will not be there for his every whim and she will have her own goals and ambitions? That's my thing too. He would also get very busy anyways because he is a very busy working businessman. So when would they have time to see each other anyways, right? You know, this was like a nice fairy tale 1 week of him doing this thing for a week. It read very much honeymoon to me. Have this honeymoon moment where he's, you know, letting a little loose here and still doing his business, but then still has someone as a companion for himself. But then once there is more work to be done, once you do have to go around the world and, you know, doing whatever the heck you're doing and get busy, then, you know, honeymoon's over. I feel like they're going to have no time to see each other, and that would cause a huge rift in their relationship as well. So, as they said it themselves in this movie, who does this happen to? Who does this happen to? The one person they could name? Cinderella. That's it. A literal Disney princess. That's it. It just doesn't happen, unfortunately. It just doesn't. It's been 1 week, and then you're going to be done. Like, what in the Love is Blind are all these relationships, honestly? Oh my god, I just realized I talked about 4 couples for an hour, and that's kind of insane. I had one more in here to talk about for this video, but I think I might save that if this does well. If it doesn't do well, then I'm just gonna leave you on suspense for forever. If this gets like 1,000 views, then yeah, I probably won't do this again. But or if you guys just hate this, Becky, shut the up. Shut up. They're in love. Shut up. Shut up. They're in love. Shut up. Let me know your thoughts. As always, love you guys. Love you. I am Becky. Again, refer to me by name. I feel like I don't get personal with you guys enough. I am Becky. Leave it. Be like, hi, Becky. And I'll be like, hi, you. Hi, you. Love you guys. Bye.